Well, if you needed it, here is yet another sign that at least certain parts of the housing market may be getting a little too hot to handle. And for this house, it can only be handled by about 1,000 buyers on the entire planet. America, sit down, or if you're sitting down, stand up, because a house under construction in the Bel Air neighborhood of L.A. is going to have an asking price of $500 million. You got to put your pinky to the side of your mouth when you say that. The house will be 74,000 square feet. It will have 3 smaller homes orbiting around it and a 30-car garage, also a, quote, Monaco-style casino. This is real. Now, if it sells for anywhere near the asking price, it would easily be the most expensive home sale ever. These pictures, by the way, are just renderings from the architectural firm McLean Design. Unbelievable numbers there. Is this, though, another sign that, as we've said a few times lately, or at least I have, housing is starting to get a little stupid again, especially in parts of California? Don Peebles, CEO of the Peebles Corporation. Jerry Howard is the CEO of the National Association of Home Builders. And Don, you're a rich guy. You're a developer. Your take on a $500 million house?
Well, look, they might as well ask $1 billion. At some point, that just makes no sense at all. Look, that if someone buying a $500 million house based on a percentage of a billionaire's net worth for a home, that would mean they need to be worth somewhere about $10 billion to buy that house. The typical billionaire is spending about 5% of their net worth on all of their housing, yet alone one single house.
And obviously, listen, the intent is probably to get attention, Don, and they're doing it. We're highlighting it on the show, so we're guilty as anybody. But when you look at the footprint of the house, it is huge. It makes the mansions of Bel Air actually look small. Is this telling us a story about the very high end of the market, or is this telling us a story about the entire housing market right now?
Well, Los Angeles is fantasy land to begin with, and this is another fantasy. Look, I have a good friend, Jeff Green, who has his home in Beverly Hills on the market for just under $200 million. And that actually makes some sense because if you look at it, it's got almost 30 acres of land. You've got a house that's actually livable and usable. And that's a tough house to sell. This one just makes no sense. And then here we are in an environment where there's this tremendous wealth divide in itself. And I think that next they're going to start beheading wealthy people if people start spending $500 million for a house like this. This is ridiculous.
I agree with you, Don, in terms of the ridiculous point. Jerry, I want to go to you because I'm wondering if you think this can be extrapolated at all to tell us anything about the housing market. I mean, New York and San Francisco are the strongest markets right now, but it's probably because the inventories are so low.
That's exactly the reason that prices are going up. Over the course of the past several years, there's been very, very minimal new home construction. So the inventories of new homes for sale are way, way down. Likewise, a lot of the people that are in the existing homes are still reluctant to put their houses on the market. That's why prices are going up. But this $500 million house is a complete anomaly. Personally, I'd like to see it, but I don't know of anybody that would buy it.
So it's stupid, Jerry.
No, look, and look,
I'm not going to say it's stupid. If somebody wants to spend that money on their house, that's up to them if they can afford it.
Yeah,
Don,
look,
you're saying?
Yeah, I would say, look, that bears no resemblance to what's going on in the marketplace. Right now in the major cities like New York, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and other places, there is a shortage of inventory. And in fact, that's slowing the market down because many people don't want to sell their own homes until they can go into a new home.
The only thing I would say, Don, and I respect your views very much, is I was up in Boston all last week, and you're walking down the street, you look at real estate, and I'm looking, 2-bedroom apartments in the Back Bay for like $3 million. I wasn't looking to purchase. I was just looking. San Francisco. I mean, some of these markets, they seem so hot, but are we myopic? Are we just looking at these hot markets with East Coast media bias?
You're looking at hot.
Yeah,
You're
look,
looking at hot. I'm sorry.
Okay, look, I would tell you, Brian, that if you look at where housing prices are today, adjusted for inflation from the last market cycle, they're still relatively reasonably priced. Look, my wife gave me a little notebook that showed what went on and what the world was like in 1960, the year I was born. And the average home price in 1960 was $5,000. So let's think about that and where we are today. So, no, I don't think that, look, we're developing in the Back Bay right now, and we're very optimistic, and we think it's undervalued compared to other global cities. New York is getting close to being priced as a global city, but D.C., San Francisco, Boston, Miami are underpriced globally.
Jerry, your last point of view, and talk to our non-LA, Boston, and New York viewers are probably annoyed right now. How's the rest of the country?
The rest of the country, housing is very affordable, and with interest rates being what they are, it's still a great time to buy. Those markets that you were talking about, and I think Don would agree with me, are also some of the markets that have the most restrictive building requirements in the country as well, which also drives up the cost expeditiously.
All right, Don and Jerry, great discussion. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.